Ready?
Oh my God. I didn't know you're back around here.
I got a big haul coming up, and I could use some help.
Do you think you'd be able to do it?
I know you'd be able to do it. Follow me.
What's your honey?
White clover?
That's a pretty rare crop.
God bless us all, everyone.
Hi, I'm Patrick Gibbs, and this is the Popcorn Podcast. Today I'm going to be speaking with actress Angelina LookingGlass about my favorite film of the year so far, The Rivals of Amziah King. Our sponsor today is the Salt Lake Film Society, and if you're here in the Salt Lake area, you know that the Broadway Center is the place to go for independent film here in Utah. If you haven't been in a while, they've put in new seating. The Broadway is just an amazing place to go and experience a movie among people who love movies as much as you do. And if you haven't been to the Broadway in a while, I'm going to give you a chance to go right now. Send an email to slugpopcornpodcast@gmail.com and tell me what's your favorite Matthew McConaughey performance and why. And that's going to enter you into a drawing for 2 tickets to see the movie of your choice at the Broadway Center. We'll be drawing that on September 1st, so go ahead and get those emails in. And now, let's talk to Angelina.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here today. I've got to tell you that one of the best things about being a journalist in film is that every once in a while I get to talk to a living legend like Denzel Washington or Glenn Close, just Hollywood icons. And I love that. But what's even better than that is that sometimes I get to talk to the people who are going to be one of the next big legends in Hollywood. And I'm doing that right now.
Thank you so much. That's a huge compliment. Yeah, I hope to be. I mean, I really love what I do. I love acting. I love performing. It's something I think that has been ingrained in me since I was little. So yeah, I'm happy to be here too.
Tell me a little bit about how you did get started. What first sparked your interest in acting? What were some of the films or other things that inspired you when you were young, and how you made that leap into doing it professionally?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, I have to thank my mom for this. She has such a huge knowledge of movies and film and all of this stuff. Like I remember watching like Goodfellas when I was like 10 years old.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Which a
Awesome.
10-year-old shouldn't be watching that, but I remember like watching a lot of like Quentin Tarantino. She was a big fan of him. Jackie Brown was like a huge thing for me, and it still is. I love Pam Grier's performance. I think, it started when I was like 12. I started getting into more of, like going to like in middle school, I started having an interest in theater, but more so for movies and for acting on camera. And so I remember like when I was 18, I wanted to do it professionally. And I remember like I had a handful of auditions, and one of them was this like Instagram casting call, and that was for The Rivals of Amziah King. Yeah, and now I'm here, and it's been a roller coaster since then, and yeah, I'm loving it.
So you got the audition from an Instagram casting call?
Like it sparked an interest for Andrew. He saw my tape amongst like hundreds of other Indigenous women.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe I was like the youngest too, because it was like 20 to 25. I was 18 at the time. So he loved my work. He got on a Zoom call with me. We clicked through that. And then it led to seeing him in person for a director's meeting. And then it went through to getting to do a chemistry read with Matthew McConaughey. And it was nice. I remember that chemistry read in LA. It was like such a huge moment for me as an actor because I was just like, if I can, act alongside him, then I'm good. Like I
Mm.
even told myself like if this is how far I'm gonna get in this process, I'm just so like grateful. Like my first co-star or scene partner was with, Matthew. So I'm very thankful that it turned out to be, getting to, co-star with him and, doing like, like getting to, I guess, be beekeepers together.
Uh,
So that was really fun.
and speaking of bees, you spend a lot of time with bees in this movie, right in your face. Literally, there's a moment where a bee crawled over your
I
eyelid.
know. Yeah, I felt that. I was like, it's insane. I remember that whole process. I remember that day. That was our last day on set. Um and I think that was our last scene. I think, yeah, that was our last scene as well. And I remember how calm I felt. I felt super calm. I felt super zen, which is really strange considering like it's such a daunting task having to be still and having to kind of let them like land on you. And how that all worked was they put a queen like under my shirt in this like box, and they can I guess sense or like sense I guess her smell, and so
Uh,
they'll go to her wherever she is. And so that's why they were kind of going on my body. They were trying to find her. They were trying to find like where she was. Um, and that whole thing was shot when the sun was setting. Um, and it was beautiful. I really didn't have any nerves. I worked with those bees for 3 months. So when we were shooting, so I was very, very like just calm and just excited to have that opportunity to do that.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But building up to that, was there
Mhm.
a process of like meeting the bees and getting comfortable with them? I mean, not meeting like in terms of like introducing to them individually, but what was it like the first time you met the bees? Or did you have any fear of bees going into it?
Oh my gosh. No, because I've never been stung. I've
Oh,
like up to that point, I've never been stung, but my mom and a couple of my family members, they have been stung. Nothing's happened to them. So I took that as okay, then I'm good. And and luckily enough, whenever I got stung about 7 times throughout the shoot, and each time it was like a bug bite. Like
oh,
I didn't react at all, which I was very thankful for. Uh,
yes.
Matthew, on the other hand, he's very allergic, and he's so fearless. Like just thinking about it, you know, going on set with those bees and doing those scenes with him with the bees, he was so fearless and so like in to just doing it. Like I like he's just so cool in that way. And
Yeah.
I remember just seeing how calm he was. And like if I knew I was allergic to bees, I probably wouldn't have like
Yeah.
been as calm as he was. But yeah, I got stung 7 times. The whole process with like getting to be comfortable was we had one bee lesson,
Uh,
and we got to be around them and just kind of get a feel on how to approach them as we were performing. Yeah, so it was such a beautiful process, and I'm gonna remember that forever.
that's great. It does make me think, knowing that he's allergic, that
Mhm.
uh maybe it's not a coincidence that we have no Matthew McConaughey shirtless scene in this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the queen.
Queens are strong, strongest. Every queen's a survivor, always from birth. Without her, the hive won't survive. Can't survive. That's why wherever she goes, the whole community swarms to her.
So I love this movie so much. I've seen it 3 times now. I watched it again last night, and I was watching it with my brother, and just at the point when he was wondering whether you might be a supporting actress contender or whether Matthew McConaughey may be a best actor contender, is when Amziah suddenly dies and is out of the film. And it really got me thinking, there's a lot of subtle foreshadowing in this movie. Even the title, Amziah King, kind of foreshadows, teasing that what's going to happen, and that Amziah himself is almost a red herring because the bees don't need a king, they need a queen. So it's not actually his story, it's
Yeah.
Terry's story.
Wow.
And it's really amazing. So an interesting thing about Kateri, she's a very enigmatic character, and I think uh, as I talk to other critics, people, there are a lot of them who love the film as much as I do, and then there are some who are kind of confused by the shift in the second half and not sure how they feel. In part because we do instantly love Kateri, and it's jarring to see some of the things um, that she does.
Mm.
But one of the things that makes that really intriguing to me is the first half of the movie isn't really seen through her eyes. So we assume that we know her, but
Right.
we don't really. There's a
Yeah.
lot that we really don't know about who this person is and what she's capable of doing, and what she's been through in the past. Tell me
Mhm.
about your approach to her
Yeah.
and playing her without judgment.
Yeah, of course. That's a really good question. I remember reading the script for the first time, and I immediately knew that I was gonna be a supporter of her through and through, no matter about like her killing people in the process and her pursuit. I think her intentions and I guess her morals are very just kind of not. I think in the first act we see her and Mziah, and you can see that kind of that childlike innocence to her, and
Mhm.
that he brings out of her.
Uh-huh.
Her past, she went through a foster care system, she lost her mother, even her brother is in jail. So she really doesn't have anyone to really look up to. And so Mziah was that person, that kind of that beam of light for her and that sanctuary. And so when he kind of brought her into this community, she let her guard down. She thought she was good and safe, and, she felt happy.
And
And once Mziah is gone, I feel like that shift happens where it's just, everyone grieves in a different way. And
uh,
with her, that grief is with vengeance and revenge on whoever stole Mziah's bees,
mhm.
and whoever that is was going to essentially get the brunt of how she felt emotionally. And I think when she saw Dob, she wanted to hurt him as much as she was hurting for the loss of Mziah, because he's a huge like agricultural guy.
uh,
He's kind of ruining businesses in the process of making sure his businesses are like number one and like on top. and that's like shown in the movie. And I think in her eyes, she feels like it's almost like taking down like a big enemy for her and
Mhm.
for everyone else too. And yeah, I think her actions are very impulsive. But I treated them as, like I understood where she was coming from. She's a deeply like um I guess she's very sensitive, and she has this quiet confidence to her that I
Mhm.
really loved.
Absolutely.
And I think, with what she did, of course, people would have like mixed feelings. Like I had mixed feelings
Uh,
myself when um she was about to kill the dog. Like,
uh-huh.
she was about to, but she
Yeah.
didn't. I think that's when I understood that she kind of uh grew into this different person. Like without
Yeah.
Amziah, she's like completely a different woman.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think it's just, beautiful how it
a-
she turned she turned into
Absolutely.
like uh this queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
so I think that when she's around Amziah, particularly, so one of my when he tells the story about
Yeah.
her running out uh down the steps with the jar,
Mhm.
um, I cried when I watched that last night because I have a niece that I helped raise who's like a daughter to me, and
Um,
I see that relationship in his telling of the story and the look on your face. And to me, at that point in the story, Kateri is her 8-year-old self again
mm,
in many ways. She's getting to be a kid again, and having his daughter figure again. But when everything changes, um, what I really think of is The Godfather.
yeah.
I see Kateri as very similar to Michael Corleone in many ways. I think that she's put in a situation where suddenly this legacy and this enterprise of Amziah's whole operation is put on her, and her
Mm,
love for him and what he meant to her, and all of this surrogate family that he's built up, all of that is suddenly hers to
yeah.
protect and her
Yeah.
responsibility, and she has to rise to that occasion. And do you think that that plays a part in her willingness to do anything to protect that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good that you said that. I like, you know, that is essentially another big thing as well. She has to protect what he gave her as well, which was his honey business. And that was also a huge discussion too with like me and Andrew, just kind of seeing like what is like kind of um pulling her to do these things in the like later parts of the script. And essentially it is just like, she's trying to take what was hers back. And it's this desperate pursuit. Obviously, nobody wants to kill or murder someone
Uh,
over something, but I feel like there's this desperation where she's just, she's had enough, and she's had enough of like like the world kind of beating her up, and also just the things she's gone through at such a young age. It really kind of forms a person into what she is, essentially, is someone that is like having to take the reins of her life and try to get back what's rightfully hers, whether it's having to kill people, in Kateri's mind.
mhm.
That's just that's just what she has to do. That's what she needs to do to get, you know, this business back, and to um
So,
get Amziah's legacy as well.
absolutely. You mentioned that what she does is impulsive. That first,
Mhm.
when she shuts the door and
Yeah.
shuts the man in, she's not necessarily going there with that plan, is she? That
Mm,
that
no.
that one was an impulsive choice.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't planned. I feel like she didn't know what she was going to get into. Um, I think, you know, and of course, when she's going into that warehouse, she doesn't like she knows that he's there, but she doesn't know where he is.
Hmm.
And there's like in my mind when I was going through that scene and that script, I was thinking, well, she does know he's here, but she doesn't really know what she's gonna do when she sees him. But essentially, it's either, you know, she sees kind of what's going on in this warehouse and the bees and everything, not the bees, but like the honey,
Hmm.
kind of gauging like how she's gonna take this back. But
Hmm.
then she sees an opportunity where he's in this hot room.
Uh-huh.
And then there's this shot where she's kind of thinking like this could be, you know, so easy to do. And she does it.
Uh,
Like she does something that I think people wouldn't necessarily like go forward with. And
but
it
it would
just
pop into their mind.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she did it. And um it was impulsive. And I think that that shot where they kind of go close to my face, you can see
Uh,
that shift in her because she
absolutely.
just killed a person. And it's so subtle, but you can tell that something shifted in her.
Hmm.
And yeah, she's not necessarily a hero or a villain. She's kind of in the center. And
Absolutely.
and I've seen it too. I've seen like there's people that are rooting for her, and there's people that are like there's like she's the evil person,
Uh,
and I am just 100% like a supporter of her just because like
uh,
I love her. And
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I at the end of the movie, I mean, I think if she had killed the dog, that might
Mhm.
have been the thing that lost
Oh yeah.
me. But,
Oh yeah. Yeah, me
but
too. I
yeah,
don't blame you.
but within the context of the story, I'm
Mhm.
totally. I mean, I don't know what would happen if I knew her in real life, but I totally support
Mhm.
the character and just love her. But it's fascinating to see how she does go from that moment where that change when she suddenly realizes she is capable of doing this, where she learns, I'm going to make some bad puns, but where she learns that you work with honey, you're going to get a little bit sticky. And if you work with bees, somebody has to get stung.
Mhm.
Um, and from there,
Yeah.
it becomes slowly more calculated
Mhm.
and premeditated. But it is all, again, I keep coming back to The Godfather because
Yeah.
that's that's a story about a good guy who ultimately just reluctantly decides to descend into things that he had thought he would never do because it's
Mhm.
what he has to do
Mhm.
to keep the family business together. And it's fascinating to me how much this does become a rural Godfather story. It's the queen bee instead of the Godfather.
It's funny that you say that. While I was prepping for this role, Andrew knew that like I'm like I've trained at like Stella Adler, but I really, really, really think that like you learn acting and you learn performance by watching like movies and film. Um,
Absolutely.
so I kind of resonate more with that more than like the like classical training. Um, so he made me watch The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly,
Uh,
and then Macbeth with Florence Pugh, and
uh,
The
yeah.
Godfather. Yeah, so he
I knew
wanted
it.
Yeah.
Now, with your background at Stella Adler
Yeah.
and the training you've had, you're also a singer, is that correct?
Yeah. I in middle school and in high school as well, I did musical theater. Um, so I do have like kind of like a training in singing. Um, but during that scene with Matthew and everyone on in that like that dinner table scene,
Uh-huh.
I at, at that point I haven't like sung. Daunting for me as just myself to sing along with Matthew and everyone else. And that whole scene, that was just my genuine reaction, just because like Matthew just kept coaxing me to sing louder and louder, and it was really sweet. I enjoyed that because I feel like me and him really kind of like bonded a lot during that. It was really fun getting to see him uh perform too, just like singing and playing the mandolin. It was really beautiful. As someone that has like that background in like musical theater, I was just kind of like oh, this is really cool, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I am
Well,
partially, I would say like um I'd have to like do like vocal warm-ups or whatever
mm,
if I had
sure.
a like a musical, but yeah, as
Those
anyone would.
Sure. Those
Mhm.
sequences, I mean, like I literally just watched the Quill song again now, and those sequences are so joyful and intoxicating
Mhm.
just watching them from outside the scene on camera. What what's it like being in the middle of that? And how long did you spend shooting those sequences?
Oh, it was, Andrew rehearsed with, with Ben and Matthew and Owen, and he didn't want me to rehearse with them. He wanted my like my reaction to be raw and real. So he didn't let me like even inside the house, like he didn't want me like anywhere near it. And so I was like, okay. Um, so uh, I just, when we shot it, that was just how I went through with it, and it was really beautiful. And then also like the scene where, Amziah is with like everyone like in that living room, that was so magical to see all that happen. And just like we were doing that take, I think like 3 to 5 times. And I think it was also the same for the scene in the dining room as well. It was like 3 to 5 times we kept shooting it. And like we all like collectively were like, oh, we could do this like until the sun comes up, because it was so cool to kind of getting to reset and then do it all over again. um yeah, I definitely learned a lot from just watching everyone.
Absolutely. It's just talking to you, I'm wanting to turn around and watch the movie again.
Yeah.
So badly. Now that it has finally come out and it's audiences are seeing it and more of Hollywood is seeing it, um, what kind of reactions are you getting in terms of, are you feeling attention turned to you? Do you think, um, is it already starting to open some doors?
Oh yeah, I think so. I definitely feel the love from people watching it. I have Instagram, so I get like messages about like people watching the movie from like the Netherlands or from
Mhm.
France or here, and it's really lovely. And having my family as well from my dad's side, my mom's reaching out and telling me how like wonderful it is, that's something I cherish a lot. Just like having people have such a strong reaction to the film, I'm very happy that it's resonating with people. And yeah, it is opening like doors. I like Sean Baker saw it. I was like
Oh,
immediately like um
one of my
just jumping
favorites.
up and down. Yeah, I love him. I I love his work. I think, he knows how to get um like like just real life moments on camera, and I absolutely love that. And he
He
saw
does.
it,
Yeah.
and I uh
You
was
know,
just it was just amazing getting to have like that acknowledgement from him. So
wow. Yeah,
mhm.
that's incredible. Hopefully, we'll see you in a Sean Baker movie coming up. I, but I could, I mean, this movie really, I could, I can't stop talking about this movie as a critic who sees pretty much everything. It's
Mhm.
not often that I'm truly surprised by a
Mhm.
film. And sometimes when you're seeing that much, you find yourself thinking, why do I do this? And then a movie like this comes along and says, this is why you do this, because you get to see a movie like this and tell people you have to see this. And it just rejuvenates that love of cinema.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
And the movie is that great, but it also truly is. I think, I think of Matthew in A Time to Kill. What a big moment that was. I believe that in terms of discovering a star, this is equal to that film. But for you, I
Oh,
I, I think that you're going to be huge, and it's just a privilege to me to get to talk to you before you're too big
no,
for me to even get through.
never that, never that. I'm very happy to get on to these interviews and talk about, what Andrew's written, what he's made, what, he really does know how to make a story. It's so beautiful, and I'm just very thankful that I got to be a part of it.
Never doing that again.